Notts County Talk, another Thursday, another episode of the Pavis Perspective. We are live. Well, I say we are live. I am live. George is still actually in the Pavis booing Dan Crowley. So he's not actually with me just yet. He will be joining very soon. We've got Ryan, who is a Colchester fan, came on last season, I think it was, and gave us a little preview of that game. This is going to be a very, very interesting game this season. Housekeeping then, if you are listening back on Spotify, please do leave that 5-star review. I think we're nearly at 50 reviews on that, so that would be massively, massively appreciated. Leave a like if you haven't already. And if you are not yet subscribed, as we head into 6 games left of the season, please do, because it helps us out. We are going to be at the final 6 games. We are going to have also an It's All Black and White episode out for those final 6 games as well. We have our poll question today, which actually, if I'd have put this in a few weeks ago, it might have been very, very controversial, but I'm not sure about this. Let's see what people think. The question today is, would you start Jatta, who is obviously our top goal scorer, didn't play yesterday, missed out through illness because he wasn't well the day before the MK Dons game. Didn't come on off the bench either. Traore came on. So would you start him against Colchester? Yes or no? It's a very, very simple yes or no answer this week. We will see. We'll see what people say. I've already put my answer in there. I know George has already put his answer in there, so we'll see. Let us know. Lemony Stews is our player anagram today. Last week was Nick Cerula. Chris says, am I allowed to solve the anagram yet? If you want to, Chris. If you want to spoil it for everyone this early, you can do. But no, if you know it, put it in. And then finally, tonight's show, later on, we are going to have my question to George, my theoretical question. Got it banked in here ready. And George is also going to ask me his question. Last week, we were joined by Ben, who's been on quite a few times. And he answered our questions as well. So very, very interesting. We're going to chat about Newport, that game on Saturday, which I said last week was absolute make or break for automatic chances. We're going to chat about MK Dons last night. Yes, the anagram is Miles Weston. Well done, former Notts player Miles Weston. And we're also going to talk about Dan Crowley's return. We're going to talk about Jarvis. Goodness me, what a performance. We're going to talk about this stat, which is quite incredible. Notts haven't conceded a shot on target. Not a goal, a shot on target in 3 straight games. 4 clean sheets out of 5. Would you have predicted that when Alex Bass went off injured? I don't know. But plenty of you here. Just before we get Ryan in, let's see who we've got. We've got Wayne, we've got Nick, Ian, Rob, Royston, channel member Adam says, even all, I've not been quiet in saying we're missing a man in particular as attacking threat. After seeing him in action again, I rescind that opinion. We've got Royston, we've got Kieran, Stephen, Paul, Phil, Martin, who is a channel member as well. He says, evening all, when we had 8 matches to go, I forecast 8 wins, still on course to do so. That would be some going, and I can't see it myself, but I love the positivity. Jane, Gaz, Ewan, plenty of you joining. So what we're going to do first, mix it up each show. Callum's here as well, channel member. We're going to get Ryan in straight away to chat Colchester. Massive, massive game for both sides, really, and we'll get his thoughts on it. So, Ryan, how are we doing, mate?
Yes, not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, very, very well after last night's game against MK Dons. Very well. First of all, how are things this season with Colchester? I mean, you've dropped off a little bit, but you went on an absolutely incredible run. Are you about where you thought? Are you doing better than you thought, or are you a bit disappointed?
I sort of this season I had us finishing in between 10th and 15th. I've said it on a lot of things recently. The thing that Colch United fans are enjoying is the fact that we're not in the talks for relegation. We're in the talks for playoffs and automatics. I think it's been clear to see over the past couple of games, maybe it is a little bit too soon. The squad is, in my opinion, good enough to get there, but I think it just needs another year with a few more players to come in, keep hold of a few key players, and then next year will be the year that we really try to push on and be the team at the top, or the team that cement their place in the playoffs all season. The fall off more recently, I don't know what it is, but we've got some crazy illness in the team at the moment. We've got potentially 6 or 7 first team players out with this illness, and it sounds like it's 7 days in bed, cannot move, cannot do anything. Apparently, Lyle Taylor somehow got to the game on Tuesday night for Gillingham and was on the bench. Ellisy and Darlow was in bed for 7 days. Jamie McDonald's got it currently. Kane Vincent-Young's currently out with it. I think Tavide's out with a hamstring injury. Harry Anderson got injured on, I think it was on Friday night because of the pitch, which obviously we've seen all over social media how awful our pitch is. We thought it was in a tackle, but no, we thought, well, me and my dad thought he got trod on in a challenge, but no, apparently it was because of the pitch. So he's done, I think he's done something in his knee or in his foot. We've got John Kamani Gordon out with concussion. Tuesday night, we lost Awara Edwards and Jack Payne. Wow. And I'll be honest, me saying all this, all the Notts County fans are going like this, going, oh my God, what a time to play us. But what is incredible is even with all of these players out, Danny Cowley's still getting results from us. He's still getting, he talks about how he has his starters and how he has his finishers. His finishers are now become the starters, and players that were on the bench, like Jack Tucker, for example, came from MK, came in, hadn't really played many games. Against Gillingham on Tuesday, played 90 minutes in defensive midfield and was really, really good. He had a really good game, didn't really do much wrong. And Danny said to him, look, the way the team is at the moment, can you play defensive mid? And he's gone, yeah, I'll give it a go. And he's getting the best out of players playing in positions that they didn't want to play in. I think against Gillingham, I think we had 6 defensive players on the pitch in the end. So although we've got this sickness and we've got players out injured and players getting injured from our own pitch, Danny's still getting results out of the players that we have got. So although we're not going to we may not have Jack Payne, Awara Edwards, Samson Davide, Lyle Taylor, and like I say, Notts fans are sitting there going, oh my God, like this is a really weak and Colchester team. Danny will still get 8 out of 10 performance out of the players that he picks.
Yeah. I mean, we've had our fair share of injuries this season, and we are just starting to get over that now. We know how difficult it is. And George has actually managed to join us. George, I've let everyone know that you were late because you were still in the Pavis booing Dan Crowley.
Yeah. I've literally just got home.
I have messaged you saying the game finished last night, but you were just there booing.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was the last one there.
Yeah, fair enough. Apparently, he's still doing turns in the centre circle as well on his own.
Yeah, he actually is. Yeah.
So, Ryan, you've obviously given us a lot of information there about your injuries and things, and I want to go back to last season and the game at your place. Now, the 5-4 to you.
I'm trying to remember what that game was. I was like, what game was that? The game that just came out of absolutely nowhere.
Probably came out of nowhere for you. We had to get used to that all season. That was our regular, and it was absolutely. It was by sort of November, fans were drained. You were up and down every game, and this season, you might have just heard in my intro, 3 games in a row without a shot on our goal, 16 clean sheets. I think we managed 8 last season, so average it out, we may end up with 17 or 18 clean sheets. So it's really nice from our point of view to actually be defensively solid. But that game at your place, I think, summed up our season. And I kind of think, although it was very early, it really gave me a sense that we weren't going to do anything. It was a fantastic win for you. And some of your players, the energy you had just blew me away, really. But what are your memories of that game?
So a lad that's become more coming to the games more recent. It was his second game that he came to. First one he came to was the week before, where we had MK Dons at home. We were 2-0 up until I think it was about the 88th minute, and then we lost 3-2.
Wow!
And I always remember, I always talked to him. He looked at me and he went, "Mate, this must be horrible." And I looked at him and went, "No, that's just Sporting Col U." Like sort of what you said. He was just like, "No, I'm used to this by now." Then the week after, he came to the Notts County game and it was 5-4. And he was sitting there. He was like, "I've seen like 14, 15 goals in 2 games." And I literally looked at him and was like, "Yeah, this doesn't happen a lot." I went, "What happened?" Oh, there you go, Mitchell. Yeah, that's the lad, my second game. He was like, I said to him, he was like, "What happened last week? That happens a lot. What's happened this week? That doesn't happen. This is weird." I think it was one of them games where we were just on it. But sort of probably like what you had last season, we could score goals, but we could also concede a good few. We sort of done the opposite to what Michael Owen says. Like, if you score 3, we'll score 4. It was like, no, you can score 3, but we'll score 2. And it was very frustrating. But the signs were there, and then Danny came in and sort of steadied the ship towards the end, and then has obviously done what he's done this season. I remember coming to the game not too long ago at your place, and until we played Bradford recently, I have to say Notts County were probably the best team I've seen at moving the ball around. It was very clear that your defenders were no-nonsense defenders, and they just wanted to get the ball, get it into the midfield. And as soon as it went into the midfield, you were passing it around. And it was, obviously we were the away team. We didn't want to come and like attack and be the team to get in your face. But it was one of them where I think the players were just standing around going, oh my God, they're moving this ball around so quickly. And
to be fair, I think a lot of Notts fans really, really thought you deserved the win. Really did. I mean, I thought we got up very early, didn't we? Across and a header. I think it was from Conor Grant, and then we hit the post as well. But I thought you were great. I mean, I missed that game. I was abroad, but I did manage to watch it. I thought you were fantastic.
Yeah, it was one of them. We had Tyrese Simpson up front, and it was annoying because it was one of them games, and he probably felt it a little bit himself of Lyle Taylor. If he was on the pitch, and there was 2 or 3 chances, we could have gone 3-1 up, I think, in the first 15, 20 minutes. And it was one of them was like, if Lyle Taylor was on the pitch, he potentially would have scored them. But you then sit there, but we need Lyle for Saturday. So it was a bit of a sort of swings and roundabouts with it. But yeah, and like I say, until we played Bradford recently, I thought that the way Notts County moved the ball around was the best I'd seen all season. And then we had that trip to Bradford where we just unfortunately got our beating, which was a long trip home. But hey ho, that's football for you.
Yeah, I mean, Bradford have fallen off as well since then. It seems like no one in that top 7 wants to actually go and get automatics. I'm looking at the table now, and there are 6 games to go, 18 points to play for. You're 3 behind Grimsby. I think Crewe obviously still in with a chance of getting in there. Yourselves, Chesterfield, I wouldn't rule out with their game in hand, and Salford have probably got too much to do, although they do have a game in hand. We had a Salford fan on the channel not that long ago on a separate video we're doing. They basically said there's no chance, they're too inconsistent. Are you confident? I mean, you've got a lot of players missing. Do you think you can get that top 7?
I think the thing that is very good for us is in our last 6 or 8 games that we've got. We have got obviously yourselves at the weekend. We've got Doncaster, we've got Crewe, and we've got Salford to play. So we've got the teams either are in and around us that we need to play. The bad bit was when we played Grimsby, we were miles off of it. Grimsby were the much better team. That I think dented some confidence in the fans a little bit, because it was like that was a 6-pointer and Grimsby played us off the park. I think if all of our games were to be against teams towards the bottom, I would be a little bit more concerned, because they're the teams that will they've got nothing to play for. Like, we have got Newport and Barrow to play. Them 2 teams will just shut up shop. They can't go down, they can't go up. They'll just close the doors and make it very difficult for us. When we play against teams like yourselves, Doncaster, Crewe, Salford, they're still fighting for something. So they're not going to come to us, or we're going to go to them and they're going to sit back. They've got something to play for as well. So they're the games that I'm excited for. It's the ones down the bottom where they've not really got much to play for, that we could go to Barrow and have 25 shots on goal and just can't score. And then we go and play Doncaster away and we get a 90th minute winner. Like, that's the sort of bit that I think for me it's a blessing and a burden, because it's in our hands. But it's also the thing, if we get the victory at the weekend and then Grimsby and Crewe don't get results, we'll go into the playoffs. But then next week, we get a draw and Grimsby and Crewe win, we're back down. So it is just constantly changing. Yeah. I think it's going to come down to the last day, which I don't know if my nerves can take that.
Barrow at home for you. I mean, our last game is Doncaster at home. That could be one side gets promoted. I don't know. I'm hoping you do make the playoffs, because it means you would have taken points off Crewe and, essentially for us, Doncaster. we need Doncaster to drop points badly. They've got a crazy run in, and I believe they have 4 games in 9 days, and you are the 4th of those 4 games. I mean, in Wimbledon at home on the 12th, the 15th, they go to Salford the 18th, they have Tranmere away, and then they play yourselves. I mean, it's a good time to play them. So, yeah, I'm hoping you make the playoffs, definitely. But I'm hoping, obviously, we get the win on Saturday, which could be good. Does it concern you much that we have this stat that's just popped up that we haven't even conceded a shot on target in those last 3 games? Because defensively, like I've already mentioned to you right at the start, we're so much better than we were last year. And I don't know, George, our style of football is pretty similar to last year, but we just don't seem to allow a lot of chances on our goal at all, do we?
No, not at all. It's obviously the defense has improved massively, but last night I don't think MK offered too much. But the way we pressed them, it was relentless. So they couldn't get out. Like they couldn't get out. Like when we really were pressing them, it was when we were the most effective. Like when everyone was pressing together. Like MK couldn't do anything about it. So we sort of adopted that more of a style of defending from the front, which we have for the last few games, and we've done it a lot better. I think that's been the difference.
Yeah, and you've scored, Ryan, 10 consecutive games as well. So that's why I ask if you think you'll be able to break us down.
I'm going to be honest. If the players that we've got out injured, I think if going into Saturday, if we have no Tavide, Taylor, Payne, Edwards, I don't know. I don't know if our secondary backup attack force will be as effective as the main sort of 4 or 5 players. It would potentially look like it might be Tyrese Simpson up front with Scully behind, and then Oscar Thorne one side, and Scully out on one side, and then Arthur Reed in the sort of number 10 role, which is, they are all very good players. But if you was to say to me, you're going into Notts County with that 4, or a 4 of, say, Lyle Taylor, Jack Payne, Awara Edwards, and then Harry Anderson, I'd probably be sitting there thinking, yeah, we'll get some shots off. It all depends. It all depends what the state of our injuries are. We are starting to look a little bit dangerous from set pieces. So that could be a factor. That might be where our shot on target comes from. Tyrese Simpson is very good at holding the ball up, and Oscar Thorne is no slouch on the right wing. When he gets the ball, he wants to be direct. He wants to attack at the defence. But if it was Awara Edwards, I think I just seen one of the chats saying that when we played you, Edwards was dangerous. I think Edwards and Gordon had a bit of a sort of tussle between them. Awara Edwards, in my opinion, and on his day, easily probably top 3, top 5 wingers in the league. Without his pace and without his just directness, you lose something with that. Lyle Taylor's experience, you lose that. So I think we'll be able to get shots off, but your defenders will probably just throw themselves in front of it, because that's a stat that you want to just keep going and going and going, because it just shows that you've got a defense that is rock solid and will put their body on the line. And in theory, you've got a goalkeeper that's going to be sitting there making daisy chains with the grass because he's bored. So it's
to be fair, it is a bit of a warped stat. I'm going to talk about this later. MK Dons were absolutely terrible, and Newport on Saturday were horrendous. And to be fair, the game before, Crewe came to sit in their penalty area, so it is slightly warped. I mean, but it's still some good going to do.
Yeah, don't look at that bit. Look at the bit. It was the last 3 games. No one's had a shot against us.
Go on.
No, yeah. So I think that the boys, they're playing at home. If we can get a crowd like we got in our last game, we got close to 7,000 there. So the fans are coming back. the thing that will help is the fans. Getting behind the boys, backing the boys, that will drive them and that will help them. That if they are got a little bit of an illness and they're feeling a little bit, the fans will give them that little bit more that they want. But I think the thing for Colchester fans at the moment, what's going on is amazing. We're loving this. We're loving that we're up near the top. So just the players go out there and play without a care in the world. Want to take a shot from 30 yards out, do it. I mean, it might go in the top corner. It might hit the guy at the back eating his pie, or it might go out for a throw-in. So what? Just enjoy where we are at this stage of the season. Finish the season strong. Carry on next year.
Fair play. Before I actually your score prediction, the big one for me, that the player I don't want to see back is Tavide. I think he's a really good player. Scored 7 for you this season. Hasn't played since he scored against Port Vale on the 11th. But if he's in, I think from my perspective, it's pretty dangerous player. So yeah, that's the one I'll be looking and hoping he's not fit. So Ryan, I'm going to ask you. You've been a great guest as you were last time. I'm going to ask you for your prediction for Saturday.
I want to say 5-4, just for another weird anomaly. I want to say 0-0, but do you know what? Actually, no, I'm going to go for it. It's a bit boring. I'm going to go for a 0-0, but I'm going to go for a 0-0 where both teams finish it and go, what a game of football. That's what I want. I want us to go, no, do you know what? We've got a lesser squad. We haven't got the players which we want starting. We're still going to go for it. Notts County come down and go, do you know what? We're going for it as well. It's end-to-end football. Hopefully the guy with the whistle, I don't like calling them referees because to become a referee, you actually need to do a course and get a qualification. Some of the referees in this league, they haven't done the course. They've just woken up, found a whistle, gone, oh, I could do this. I've got a black T-shirt. I might do it. I'm in a black T-shirt. I might go ref a game. So hopefully the guy with the whistle doesn't make it all about him. They can let both teams sit there with the occasion. You know, these are two teams fighting for much better than what they got last season. Let's let them play football. So be it. I actually put a tweet out saying I miss Trevor Kettle. That shows how bad refereing is that I miss that bloke.
Yeah. We've had some shockers this season. Even last night, the inconsistency was absolutely crazy. But Ryan, appreciate you coming on. Always great to have you on. Enjoy the game Saturday. Obviously, I hope we get the win, but I hope you really pick up after that. Get yourself in the playoffs. Beat Doncaster, please, or take points off Doncaster because they still have that game in hand against them.
We'll do our best.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Ryan.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. George, how good was last night?
Oh, mate.
Before we talk about that, we obviously need to talk about Newport, but I just want to talk about 2 minutes 40 into the show last week, I think it was. What did you say?
About us not getting promotion.
It wasn't promotion.
Not getting in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it was playoffs.
Yeah. Well.
Wow. What a week. But that's not a slate. That's what football is like, isn't it? The difference 2 straight wins can make is absolutely insane. Now, 2 points off third, 3 off second, 4 off first.
I just couldn't see where it's coming from, to be honest. Look, you live and die by what you say, don't you? But people were agreeing with me.
Yeah. Let's very quickly brush over the Newport game. Whittaker, class. I couldn't watch the game, really. I saw some of it. We bossed it, didn't we? I know you watched the game.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. It was as comfortable as it can be when you've not, conceded a shot on goal. Yeah, I mean, we always do a number on Newport. I don't want to get above where we are, but I always feel like when we go to Newport, we're going to do well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I just do. But I mean, I've said it a couple of times now on the channel. I know, but that technique for Whittaker's second goal, sublime.
It is really, really good. Really good. So yeah, Chris says 2 points off second. We are. So 2 off third, 2 off second, and 4 off Walsall. And Port Vale and Walsall play each other on Saturday. So you are absolutely, and it's a 12:30 kickoff. So by the time we kick off, we'll know you're either having one of those teams drop points or both drop points. If both drop points, wow. Ryan obviously is really impressed with how his side are dealing with injuries, but you hear that, George, and you've got to think the opportunity is there. Absolutely there. Oh my goodness. I mean, even if half of those players are still out, the opportunity is there. We got Newport and teams around us drop points. I spoke about this on the vlog. With 5 minutes to go on Tuesday night, the results were terrible for us. Poor. Wimbledon go and absolutely bottle it and have now got to make up a 5-point gap with only 18 to play for. So they need to get it's very, very unlikely for them. Doncaster concede late to Walsall. Walsall, how are they top? They're not winning 8 games. I mean, they're the definition of a one man club, aren't they? They've gone to absolute pieces. Yes, they won the game against MK Dons after Lowe left, but I mean, look at what MK Dons are like. But it's there. It's there for the taking. The player we have to talk about is Will Jarvis. You gave him a 9.5. I gave him a 10. Talk about what he did to Aaron, man. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, no, he made Aaron Man look like nothing. He made him look like, if you was to watch that duel and not know anything, you'd think Jarvis is this sort of more senior player there, because every single duel he won. Defensively, offensively, he was amazing yesterday. And I'll be honest with you, there's obviously been sparks of him being a special player, but that was his best full performance for Notts. And what a performance it was, to be honest with you. What a way to, endear yourself, I suppose, to the Notts fans. It was one of those games yesterday. They felt like there was a bit more on the line. To be honest with you, I think that's the most hostile it's been for a player as long as I can remember.
I've never heard it like that.
I haven't. Like all the home fans, like Cop, Pavis, few in the family, and it was stand up. We won't go into it, but
what are your views on that? Because I spoke to someone that said they're not really a fan of that at all. I don't care.
To be honest with you, like me, more of a personal standpoint. Yeah, things like that, they don't really bother me. If you don't want to do something or be somewhere, fine. You know what I mean? Move on. But I think football is a little bit different, isn't it? I think football is one of those things where you can't really change alliances, but you can literally do that in any other walk of life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of sort of pride, isn't there, in who you support, the players that you have and stuff like that. So me personally, I wasn't overly offended or anything like that when he left. Obviously, the interview he did at MK Dons probably didn't do him any favours. But yeah, to be honest, I found it very, very funny.
Yeah, I did. I mean,
and do you know what? From like a psychological point as well, I always like to see how different players deal with those things. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying he didn't deal with it well, because it's not like he reacted or anything, but he didn't really do anything, did he, yesterday?
Performance was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. And it does make you wonder, he's obviously a good player. Did you see that 442 magazine today? The readers voted him the best player in League 2 this season. Awful. But anyway, right, I mean, that magazine isn't like a big award.
I'm obviously going to be biased, but surely McGoldrick has to be up there.
Players that have been better than Crowley this season is David McGoldrick.
Yeah.
George Abbott.
Yeah.
Across the whole season, George Abbott's been
better. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
Jacob Bedu. Matty Platt. He's done nothing for 3 months.
Mariah.
At all. Mariah's incredible. Incredible. Do you know what I liked? I liked after Newport game to see the picture. He was smiling. That's what I get about Mariah. I mean, obviously we've done him pretty bad with, we've not helped him out, recalling him and meaning he's not going to get any minutes. But I mean, he reacted well. Fair play. The people you need around the dressing room. But yeah, I think what I also like is that, and I mentioned it last night, I feel like for the first time in quite a long time, like the players want to actually get into they want to make games physical. They want to fight. Like I genuinely even think in that promotion season, we got bullied by Wrexham in their game. And you know what? In the playoffs, we kind of got bullied as well a little bit, and we came out winners because of the quality we had. and we never had to really get into physical duels. I know the National League is a physical league, but we just kind of wore teams down and blew them away at the end of it. When we ended games with like 80% possession. And last year we crumbled in games. I remember the game before Luke Williams left, Tranmere away. We just got absolutely bullied. Remember Mansfield at home? Embarrassing. Wrexham at home. Wrexham didn't have to get out of, they didn't even have to step it up. It was like a training session for them. So yeah, I think we used it to our advantage. I mean, it does help that MK had about 50 fans that somehow got him with the drum. I don't know how they got him with the drum. But anyway, that's not the point. They had about 50 fans. They were never going to make it a hostile atmosphere. You look at the teams coming to Meadow Lane. Are Cheltenham going to make it hostile from an away fan point of view? No. A Salford on a Friday night? No. A Doncaster? Yes. That will be absolutely rammed if it goes to the last game of the season. I find it hard to see with how tight it is that it won't go to that last game of the season. But, I thought last night was fantastic. Would you say it was as complete as you could get? I would almost say, and it probably is under the category of a perfect performance.
Yeah.
They didn't have a shot. They didn't worry us. We could have had another goal or two. Yeah, it was just great. What I will say is, though, and I've seen a couple of messages about Traore. Someone put great performance on our video apart from Traore. Will Jarvis has got to be the example there. People were saying 2 weeks ago Will Jarvis wasn't up to it, and look what he's just done in the last couple of games. Last 3 games, really. Last 2 or 3 games. You've got to give a player time. You have to give a player time. And Will Jarvis has come from Hull, who are in the EFL, and he's come from the League of Ireland, which is not a million miles away. Traore's come from Norway and had an injury. I can't be seeing people slating him. He came on, he did his best, and it will take a bit of time.
Can't fault his effort.
No, you fully can't. And also, they did resort towards the end to just absolutely kick us to pieces. Did you see that tackle on George Abbott was a poor tackle? Really poor. What do you make of that tackle by Curtis Edwards, by the way?
Class, it's what football's all about.
It is. I'd build a statue, to be honest.
Yeah, do it now. Start building it.
I'll donate. I'd also give him a contract extension, maybe 4 years.
Is that it? 4?
4. Unreal. Got the ball as well. Got the whole ball. Got the ball. He did it. And yeah, it's good to see. Do you think? I think I said a couple of weeks ago, if we were somehow to get automatics, it would feel like we'd limp to the line, and that it wouldn't feel that it would feel odd. But I do think these 2 wins. Do you think they've got people on Maynard's side now?
Definitely. For sure. Like, I'm probably in that camp, to be honest. I was so sure that we were going to see a similar downward turn as what we saw sort of last season. It just didn't look like there was any desire there. Do you know what I mean? But we've completely flipped that on the head, and I've been proved wrong. I'm so happy I've been proved wrong. But look, if we win our next, I don't know how many. We've got 18 points. Let's say we win 12 to 15 of our next 18 points. It's not going to feel like we limped to the line, is it?
No.
It's all forgotten, isn't it?
So, obviously, 18 points were up. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
16 would be up. 15 would be up. I think you messaged me. We messaged this morning, didn't we? You think 12 and we're up.
I think if we gain another 12 points, I think that could see us past.
What I think helps us out as well is it's unusual how it's fallen, but everyone plays each other. Doncaster play Wimbledon, Walsall play Port Vale, we play Bradford. It's just going to fall that way. I think 80 points will be enough to go up. I think.
Can you imagine how big a win at Bradford away would feel, though? And what that would do?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Mate, that because of where Bradford are, and depending on the next, that could almost clinch it. I mean, we're not getting ahead of ourselves, but I would love to get into a position over the next 2 games, Colchester and Salford, where you can go to Bradford. And I'm not going to go with the mentality of this because we want to win them, but I'd love to go to Bradford. And if we were to leave with a draw, you're like, yeah, that's all right. You know what I mean? Like, we could get into that position. Who have Bradford got this weekend? So we play. Oh, you know what? We play Colchester won't be easy and Salford won't be easy, but you want to win those. Bradford have got Crewe, who are desperate to get in the playoffs, and then they go to Swindon, who have just turned over Wimbledon. Then us, then Bradford go to Chesterfield and go to Doncaster. In the space of 9 days, they are at home to us. They go to Chesterfield and they go to Doncaster.
Tough.
That is insanely tough. The easiest running is Walsall by a country mile.
They need it, I think, don't they?
Yeah, they need it. And they're also due a win in 8 games, and they play Port Vale. So, I mean, as much as a draw would be good, you want Walsall to beat Port Vale, I think, really, in that. Yeah, I'd love to get to a scenario where Bradford away, if we win, incredible. If we draw, it's all right. Because then after that, what have we got left? 3 games. Cheltenham, Harrogate, Donny. It'd be great. It'd be absolutely outstanding. Yeah, I'm just excited. Like, do you know the feeling after the goals went in on Tuesday? I was absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. Cases here said, evening chaps. Post Walsall away prediction still on, Tom. Yeah, after we lost that game against Walsall, was it 3-1? I had a word with Case at the end. I made a prediction about this season. It's still on. It's still on. Right. Let's go to our questions then. Who went first last week?
You, I think.
So give me your question this week.
This is a tough question, mate, to be honest with you, because I thought of the question and I struggled to think of an answer for myself.
Go on then.
But I do have an answer for my question. But my question is to you. Take a bit of time to think about it as well. It's a bit of a different one. What do you think Notts could add to the concourse that would make you want to go to the concourse before the game? I know they obviously don't want that now because of the Nest. Let's just say half time, and then maybe for a little bit after the game.
Good point.
Maybe something different that no other clubs really have.
I'm trying to think of grounds I've been to that I've enjoyed what they have to offer. Ooh. And put your answers in the chat here. Put your answers in the chat. Stephen says jugglers. Hale says better food. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Football, isn't it? You know, football food's never going to be great, is it?
Yeah,
you know that footy ground when you see someone eating like chips with pulled pork on? That's just nonsense. That is. There are
always things outside the ground anyway.
It's nonsense.
You always get home fans messaging
who wants pulled pork with cheese on top of chips? It's just
you're only there.
Restaurant, mate. You're at the wrong outlet.
It's a really good question, and you've not got an answer yourself.
I have. Yeah. Do you want me to give you mine?
Go on.
I have a couple. I have a couple, but mine would be like a halftime challenge, and it's potentially different every week. So maybe, I don't know, something silly like there's a like a bike, and the furthest distance you can travel on the bike in 30 seconds. You know, like an exercise bike.
Yeah.
Or there's one of them things where it measures how hard you can hit a ball.
Yeah.
And then you win something if you get the best or quickest time. My other one was potentially a games area, so like dartboards, pool tables, but
that'd be class. But you'd get busy, wouldn't it? That would be class. Robert says, "How about live music? Plenty of local bands would jump at the chance." Yeah,
that's actually a shout. That is a good idea.
I'm gonna say something here. This is my answer. I'm gonna say a way of having halftime access for Pavis fans back into the Nest, and then what you say, like those challenges in the Nest at halftime. You know, you've got the TV on, you've got Sky Sports on, which is giving you the results. You know, maybe you're getting fans interviewed at half. Well, that could go badly wrong if you fall down at halftime, couldn't it? But just, yeah, a way back into the Nest that they can manage at halftime, I think, for me.
That's doable as well, because there's actually a gate, isn't there?
Fully doable.
So,
yeah, fully doable. Right, ready for my question?
Yeah, go on.
Now I'm going to say you have to put this into a 3, 2, and 1 order. Obviously, 1 being the best, 3 being, still good. But I would say just for Pavis fans, if you could do it another way, then definitely do it another way. You can relive 3 Notts moments from your life, but I'm talking about the moment it happened, not the outcome. So let's say you had an amazing moment in the stand.
Oh yeah, easy.
And we lost 12-1 after that.
Yeah.
Just that moment. 3 moments that you could relive. I think our number 1 is going to be exactly the same. But what would they be? I think our number 1 will be this. I'm sure our number 1 will be the same.
Okay, fair enough.
We might even have another one similar in there. What would you have?
Do you know questions like this? I kind of like to throw one in there that's a little bit different, but I can't because I've got to just give you the three that popped into my mind there. The 3 I've got to go with because they're instinctually the first 3. So I'd say third, the equaliser against Man City, Neil Bishop. I literally remember turning around to my mate that I was with, like, I can't believe I've just seen.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it? It wasn't an equaliser, was it?
Bishop was to put 1 up.
Yeah, it was put as 1 up, wasn't it? Yeah. Second was winning at Wembley on penalty.
Yeah, so Scott's penalty.
Yeah. Oh, I did.
For pure moments, number 1.
For the moment itself, yeah, easy. But not number 1, right?
I know what it's going to be.
Yeah, the free kick at Wrexham,
Boston
promotion season. That was unreal. That is one of the best footballing moments I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That is in our lifetime. That is the biggest Notts game that's ever been. As in, on the world stage, there was millions of viewers. It's like the most viewed non-league football game ever.
Yeah.
Right. The stadium was sold out. It was packed. You know, it was a minute or 2 before it was Bostock, wasn't it? We didn't even know Bostock had that in his locker. Yeah. And he just it was against Ben Foster, who they paid an absolute fortune to put in goal, and who ended up saving a penalty. But it doesn't matter. That moment in itself, for me, was one of the best moments ever. It was pure elation. Like I was stood on the chair in front of me, and it was mad.
Yeah, mad. I'm gonna go with, and I think this question lends itself to this, but I'm gonna go proper recency bias here because you've named some amazing moments. Bishop's goal, you've named some really, really good moments. Mackie Horizon said, "Do I have to live it?" Yeah, you do.
Yeah, come on.
I'm going to go proper recency bias here, and it's going to sound like I started supporting Notts 2 years ago.
I was just thinking that because obviously we've had promotions, haven't we?
Yeah, but
in our lifetime,
like the promotion, yeah, like
that was when we were bought, wasn't it, by the so-called.
But the moments I'm going to say, they're fueled by other emotions as well, and right there in the moment, because at the age I'm at now, like those promotions, I couldn't spend my own money to travel. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't take time, like my own time to go alone with friends because I was too young, kind of thing. Yeah. So this is now, and I think it means more when you spend your weekends, when you've worked and things like that, to go to the game. So I'm going to go third place. I'm going to go Jodie's winner against Boreham Wood.
Yeah, it's up there, isn't it?
Has to be there. I mean, Medley went mad. Fans flooding on the pitch, didn't they, at the end? Yeah. Second, it's so recent, but I'm going to go Archie Mayor's second penalty save with his leg. Because that's the moment, and I've said this on the channel, so that's the moment I was like, we're going to do it. We're fully going to do it. I mean, it's a wonder save. And first is Bostock. They're all from the same season.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's
you got to throw some honourable mentions in there, though, I think.
There's honourable mentions for me. I'm going to throw in Mark Ellis' header against Chesterfield.
I was going to say that. That was amazing.
Purely, and
first game back on it after COVID.
Yeah, after COVID. We're starved of live football.
Yeah.
The Bishop goal has got to be in there. Like you said, previous promotion.
I'll tell you what's up there for me. This was Mansfield, the relegation season when we beat them 1-0 at home, it was the first time I brought my missus to a game, and she thought Notts were amazing, but obviously we ended up getting relegated that season. But yeah, no, that's definitely there for me.
Should have told her we were actually Juventus.
Yeah.
But there's so many in there. It's good to read what everyone else is saying as well. Edwards foul on Crowley, number 1 for me. What are you on about foul?
Mike Edwards bicycle kick.
Mike Edwards bicycle kick. What? Mike Edwards bicycle kick. Mike Edwards not scored a bicycle kick, has he?
Are you real?
Mike Edwards bicycle kick. When?
I don't know when. It definitely happened though. Please, someone tell me I'm not wrong. Tell me that wasn't a dream that I had like 10 years ago.
Mike Edwards bicycle kick.
Yeah.
Have I erased that from my memory?
You must have done. I'm sure it happened.
Someone said Darlington to win the league. First Darlow wins the league. Darlow 2010. Darlow away.
There you go.
Cameron missed it. Tom missed it. I honestly can't. What's going off? It's this. It's honestly, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's talking to you week in, week out. My brain's gone to mush. Brain's gone to absolute mush. Sorry. Yeah. Absolute mush. David Pipe. Not David Pipe. But anything with David Pipe is good. I remember David Pipe was the first player I was like, yeah, David Pipe. Jeremy says that Jack Grealish goal, but mine's the goal against Middlesbrough in the FA Cup in like 2000.
Yeah, that's up there.
3-4. It was a cross that went in or something like that. That was up there. I didn't even know how to celebrate then. I was too young.
Yeah.
Jumping around, swinging my arms around. This season, if you're going really recent, Sam Austin's goal against Cheltenham. Oh, there's so many good moments, but they're the 3 I'd relive. So let's go to the Colchester game. They've got lots of injuries. Let's go for our lineup. And before we go for our lineup, Tony Scully, that's it. Before we go for our lineup, we may as well do the poll question.
I'll get that up for you now then, sir. Would you start Jatta on Saturday? 78% say yes, 22% say no.
Wow, that's different to what I thought. What did you vote?
I voted yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I voted no.
Did you?
I think it's refreshing to have a different option off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, on reflection, I probably should have put no, you know.
I can see why you're going to say yes, our top scorer.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think yesterday we win 3-0 and Jatta's not. I'm not saying it's his fault. You know, I'm sure we would have still scored goals, but the finishing yesterday was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't think we had too many clear-cut chances. Really, when you look at the goals, 2 of the goals are like outside of the box, World is, and another one is like a lucky sort of deflection off the keeper, and it's fallen to the wing back. Like the striker not overly involved too much in the goals, but look, I thought we played well, and we were like heavily reliant really on Jarvis. Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one, you know. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Casey says here, personally, don't think Grant offered enough to warrant starting again.
No, yeah, that's a good point.
Kind of true. It's a tough one. I just think 3-0 win. I wouldn't really mess it up too much. I wouldn't switch it up that much. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
at the end of the day, though, if it's a winning, you know, if it's that combination of players is the winning sort of solution, it doesn't really matter, does it? If you're top goal scorer, if it works better without, I mean.
Then Joe says here, Grant worked his arse off. He did. Him and Whittaker together.
You know what as well? Like, I thought Grant had a difficult game yesterday. Not in the sense that he made it difficult for himself. There were so many times where he was sold short with passes, and it reflects poorly on him. But
yeah,
he had a tough all game of it yesterday, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. So lineup, obviously goalkeeper. Goalkeeper stays the same for me. I don't start Miller. I don't change a goalie that's kept 4 clean sheets in 5. Back three stay the same. Wing backs definitely stay the same for me. Jody's not going to be fit enough to start, but I think he might be on the bench. You could potentially have Jody. Yeah, Jody off the bench. Midfield two stay the same for me. They stay the same for you.
Yes.
And then I'm going to keep Grant, Whittaker, and Didsey. Are you going to go for Jota?
No, I'm not.
No, fair enough. I keep the same team. I think have possibly Jota off the bench, Traore off the bench, Jody off the bench. I wonder how different Traore's time at Notts would be now if he'd have scored that header against Port Vale in his first game.
Yeah. That would have been like the perfect start for him, wouldn't it? No, you're right. Yeah. Look, like you say, you're right. We have to give him time. And the games, I think he's only started 1 or 2 games, hasn't he? So we can't be too hard on him. He's coming some difficult games as well. Like coming in, his debut coming on at Port Vale away, like that's a tough game to come into. That is.
Yeah, it is. You're right. So we're going with those lineups. I think to have options off the bench, we've not had options off the bench for so long. We could potentially have maybe Sam Austin back for a bit of this season, maybe Scott Robertson as well. So, yeah. Joe said, I don't think they'll reintegrate Jody on that pitch, a pitch that resembles no man's land, holding back still Salford. Yeah, true. I want to say as well, nobody ever commented that we shouldn't start Nick Cerula. Like, I couldn't believe it before last night's game that people wouldn't start Nick Cerula, but you can't be saying that now. The guy, he doesn't lose the ball. If you watch him, he never takes a man on and is tackled. If you can't take the player on, he'll cut back and pass it to someone else. His goal was fantastic yesterday as well. Absolutely unreal. Got that touch in. Yeah, class player.
Criminal to be allowed 3 touches though, isn't it? Or 2 touches.
100%. He could have swapped the ball. So, Right, very, very quickly, before we came on air about an hour before, Roberto Gagliardi has been appointed head of football at Medellin. The Italian boasts a wealth of experience, having performed a number of senior roles at other clubs, including Portsmouth and in the Turkish Super League. Our owners, Chris and Alex, said, following Richard Montague's departure, we have taken some time to evaluate the club structure and identify the qualities that would be most valuable to us in his replacement. Having previously worked with Roberto and having seen the way his career has progressed over the years, we believe he would be a great option for us, and we are pleased to have attracted him to the club. He will lead on all aspects of recruitment and negotiations with agents and clubs. Areas he is highly skilled in, thanks to the experience he's gained and the notable people he's learned from throughout his career. Has an excellent understanding of the game tactically and in terms of player recruitment. He spent time as a goalkeeping coach at Leyton Orient. He then joined Portsmouth as head of European scouting, spending 4 years in the role before becoming Pompey's head of football operations. So, I mean, it looks good. He spent time at Brentford and overseeing their rise, not overseeing but been part of it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, look, I know all about that situation. I think it's obviously good to get someone in. The owners look like they've done what they did with Maynard and with, Williams and Birchall, and they've taken their time to get the right person in. And it helps where we're in the league now, because we're attractive, we're an opportunity to go up, we're a club building on and off the pitch. So, I mean, I don't know your thoughts on that. It's obviously important to have someone in. I think the proof for me will come when you get something like, I think you can read a lot in someone's character at things like fans forums, and what he does will help. I don't know what people think in the chat, but
he was unknown to I'm saying 99.99999% of Notts fans, wasn't he, until today?
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks good, doesn't it, with that interview that's been put on? But it's obviously going to be dressed a certain way, isn't it, when you're releasing that you've employed someone new for a very important role at the club. So, like you say, time will tell. It looks good. I mean, he's been around, hasn't he? He obviously knows his stuff, and he seems well aligned with the philosophy of the club.
Yeah.
So it should be fairly seamless, shouldn't it?
Yeah, Chris said he's known the brothers for a long time. That's a good aim. And I'd say this is a really good quote from him. In terms of attracting players, Notts County has many strong selling points. It's very difficult for clubs, even those from high divisions, to compete with our brand, history, city, fan base, and project. I think the last word is important, project. Yeah, So I think that's really good. Right then, let's get our score predictions. Oh my goodness. If we're back here next week with 9 points from a possible 9, going into a Friday game against Salford at home, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. But I think if they've got even half the players out that Ryan mentioned, it's going to be massive. What's your score prediction? And you're coming, aren't you? You're going to the game.
I am, yeah. You twisted my arm, yeah.
Unreal. Literally twisted it, popped it out, bought him a ticket, popped it back in.
Yeah.
I didn't buy him a ticket. I didn't do that. But I'm going to drive you, aren't I?
You are, yeah.
Yeah. You're going to karaoke all the way, aren't you?
I am, yeah. Might put it on the vlog, might not. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? Score prediction.
I'm going to go for a 2-0 Knots. No more shots on target for the rest of the season.
Could you imagine? Imagine that, but we still didn't go up. We drew too many games, scored own goals. Nightmare. I'm going to go 2-0 Knots. We will concede some shots on target this game. I think it'll be tough. Really tough. They've not won in 3. I never like going into games like that, but, they've got a lot of injuries. We are coming out the end of that. If you get, I think, if you get a Jarvis performance like that again, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Dids is in unreal form. Get through this. I'm going to go 2-0. Who scores?
I'm going to go McGoldrick because he's just doing that at the moment, isn't he? And Abbott.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go Didsy and Will Jarvis again. It's good, isn't it, that Jarvis can go down, literally down the byline or cut inside.
Yeah.
It's really good. I like that. And that nutmeg on Aaron the Man.
Yeah. We talked about it for years.
Disgrace. Anyone seen the man anyway?
Who?
Aaron the Man. I think he's still in his pocket, in Jarvis's pocket.
Must be.
Tucked him in his sock, actually, I heard. Let's see what people are saying then. 3-1 Knots. Cerula, Didzy and Jatta off the bench. 1-0 Knots. Got 2-0 McJatta. 2-0 Knots. 2-0 Knots. They're copying us, George. 2-0 Knots. No one else going to copy us. 2-0 Knots. We've got 1-1. 6-0 Jarvis, Brace, Bedu, Header, Chicks and hat-trick. Someone needs to break it to. He doesn't play for us at the minute. It's becoming... I've only noticed this in the past maybe 2 weeks. I don't know if you have, George, but maybe the past 2 weeks. It's becoming an obsession. This Chicks thing.
It's weird.
Since episode 146, really, it's becoming a bit of an obsession. I've never noticed it before. But, we'll be careful with that one. We'll be careful with that. Oh, my goodness. I'm so up for Saturday's game. We will have a vlog out regardless of what happens at full time. It's a long journey, so safe travels to anyone going. Ben, if you're watching, you were on with us last week. We'll see you at Colchester. Could be 9 points from 9. We'll have to see, but we are going to know, what we need to do because Walsall play Port Vale in the half-12 game before. Please leave a like if you haven't already. Let's try and get to, I'm going to ask for a big one. Let's go for 150 likes. Thank you for staying with us for nearly a full hour's bumper episode. Leave a comment of anything else you can think of. If you didn't watch live, leave a comment. Let us know your lineup. Drop that subscription, and we will see you again back here at the same time next week.